But tell me, how did you, Marcela, like, when did you know? Like, I'm curious because what I don't know about is like, tell me about the moment when you knew. I mean, obviously, I feel from where I see it that the birthing of the book is also a recognition of the child is, it's like you feel it as if when you sat down, like you were pregnant with it and now it bursts. Like, so when did you know you got pregnant with the book? Like, and how did that happen? Because it is grace. I feel like it's like a sign. I feel like it's a mystical sign that it's ready to be born. I feel. I mean, how is the birth of a book? How do you? How did that? Was there some sort of a? I'm curious about that phase of you
Yeah,
where
yeah, yeah.
you felt you are ripe. Like something is ripe and it's time.
Yeah, the first thing was actually when I created Human Potential, that I was already busy with Tai Chi and Sufism for 20 years when I did that. And it's almost like the universe is pushing me in some direction as well. There is the little ego that is full of doubts and insecurities. I'm not good enough. I have to learn more, and I have to polish this, and I have to polish that. But then you come into positions that you are being pushed. And for example, when I created Human Potential, was I was working as a bookkeeper in a company, small company, and I was bored, like totally bored, because I'm an accountant. So that's how it was logical to have that kind of job, and I didn't like it at all. And my boss told me, "Hey, you are making a few mistakes here. You're not paying attention. Be careful, because where do you want to be in 5 years from now? Because you have to do something if you want to be hired by a bigger company or something." He shoot that question to me, and I spontaneously said, "I want to be a Tai Chi teacher." And I didn't even believe that I was saying that. And I just said it very confident and everything. And he said, "Oh, then that's wonderful. Then you have no problem, because that's completely another direction. You have 1 year so that you can prepare and start your school." I said, "Okay."
That's amazing.
So okay, then I have to do it because I said it, and that's one thing for me is like, when I say I'm gonna do this, I really do it. This is like it's everything pushes me to do it. I cannot not do it, and when I haven't done it, it's been horrible.
Ah,
It's been a guilt trip, and it's that disappointment and everything. So, and I get really disappointed and angry if somebody promised me something and doesn't fulfill it. They say, you said it. So for me, the word is very important. And then when I started the cosmology, well, in Sufism, then it's like just a spontaneous question, like why is not represented the spirituality of the Native Americans in the worldview of religions and philosophies? Because in Sufism we uh, celebrate all
hmm,
religions, not one.
hmm.
But the indigenous people who is connected to nature, it was just a general thing in the whole world. They said no, but I think America has a really important things like the Aztecs, of the Mayas, of the Incas, and they were really huge civilizations, not just a group of people. So then my Sufi uh, guide, or the leader of the Sufi order, he said, "Well, I really don't know much about it, so why don't you go investigate?" And that's how I ended up in the cosmology of the Andes. He said, and a spontaneous question and a spontaneous answer, and then boom, I'm there. He said, "Wow, I'm closing a circle here." Because I left Peru without knowing anything about it and searching for
Yeah.
this deep understanding of life and myself and my culture. But actually, it melted into the world view, because we've been living in so many countries. And and then it was like adding and completely encompassing everything I ever learned. So I really felt fat and afraid. But the doubt was still there. He said, who am I to say something? He said, there are so many gurus, so many people talking about it. But he said, and then I just had to, in the cosmology of the Andes in our training, um, you have to become sovereign and independent. You have to be an authority for yourself. So how do you become an authority? No, writing a book, because you are explaining who you are, what you know out your own experience, not copying from anybody, but just being you. So he said, "Oh, okay, let's see what comes out." And it took me 2 years to begin with, because he said, "No, writing a book, that's really, yeah, not an easy decision to make." But the more,
But pause. Now, here, when you say it took you 2 years to begin,
yes,
give me some highlights of those 2 years. What do you mean it took you 2 years to begin? Like, what were the milestones that were the jumping points for you where
yeah,
you still were proceeding, but and then it brought you to that 2 year thing? Like when you look back,
uh, to have to give value to what I knew. So I was always doubting that I need to learn more, I need to practice more, I need to, that insecurity. But I began to teach the cosmology of the Andes in 2020, and that was the beginning of the pandemic. So everybody was searching for deeper knowledge and deeper understanding. So that was great.
no, but
And
wait, now how did you begin to teach the cosmology? Like what made you, because you what made you teach it? Like
yeah, yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
just jumped into teaching or how? Because you
No, no,
wanted to be the
no.
Tai Chi teacher, so how did you become a cosmology teacher?
I was when I started searching for the cosmology of the Andes, I found a retreat in Peru in 2015. That's when my Sufi the Sufi order um, head, I don't know how to call him, um, told me to investigate about it, and I found this retreat 13 days in Peru. So, and that was like a magnet. They said I found a video of my teacher Nicolas, and he was in that time 28 years old, something like that, very young. But
Whoa.
he was talking so simply, so to the point, so humbly, and talking about truths that I could recognize immediately. And he came from the place, from my birthplace, literally. That
Wow.
is the town of Paucartambo. And it's very, in my case, it's really special because I am part of a family who were owners of that whole area, including this nation, the Quero nation. So their lands were within the lands of my four ancestors, who were big landowners, and they owned them. So that's when the Spanish conquerors, they just took all the workforce that's part of the land. Actually, they were even considered as citizens or anything like that until 1970s. So it was a, and on the other side, I'm 50% mixed with Indian of Native American blood. So I had both in me. And I had always that curiosity, because we had a lot of contact, because my grandparents had land, so we went on vacation to the farms, and we had contact with that, but never really deep, always superficial, because it was uh, undervalued. It was just
Hmm.
work and nothing else, something like that. So it's sad also, and my father fought for justice for this community, and it was big revolutions in Peru, and we have had terrorism and everything. So it was really, really tough times, and for me it was everything incomprehensible. Why do we have to live in so much conflict and so much
Hmm. Hmm.
polarity of cultures? And
Hmm.
when I left Peru, I realized there is a lot more different points of view in the world, and that was very enriching. And so when I went to the retreat for 13 days, and that was bloop. Shake me completely out, took all the nonsense out of my being, and I started, okay, now I can begin to be real, really with my feet on the earth, because Tai Chi is very much connected to energy, and Sufism is very much connected to how to embrace the idea of the divine, but in a more free way, according to what you believe. But the cosmology of the Andes bring you to the earth.
Ah.
Kiss the ground, literally kiss the earth, because that is the real mother. So we are so much with the idea of the father, who is from the heavens, that ruling everything down, but we don't acknowledge. And it's exactly what happens in a family: the father and the mother. The father is the important one, and the mother is the invisible one.
Yes.
So the cosmology on the Andes brought the balance between the female and the male, and to me that was wow. That's the world
Wow.
I like to live in. And that and all my beliefs, because they have such a concrete way to unroot the causes of all your misunderstandings, because
Hmm.
we interpret things in such a way, and sometimes in a harmful way for ourselves, or there's something to propel us to do more, a lot of things, but without a real base. And the real base is that we are children of the earth, that we have to breathe, we have to eat, we have to drink, and the rest is all mind. We are projecting ideas and we are manifesting that, but how coherent are we in our ideas if we are not connected consciously to the ground that supports our existence? So that gave me a total different light. And I follow courses for 4 years, practicing on myself, because you have to work on yourself to clean
Yes.
up all the, rearrange all your furniture inside, and change your clothes. And then he was also starting from basic. His journey is also amazing, because he was living in the mountains until he was 12. He left home because he was pressured by the tradition that he was a chosen one or something like that, and he just wanted to be a normal kid. But because he ran away, he learned a lot from the Western culture. He got completely disappointed, because from all this purity and richness, spiritual richness, to complete misery, because he didn't have to money. He didn't even not know how to speak and write Spanish. He was just being a help in a house for somebody to clean and stuff like that. And from that, to become to go through a very difficult uh, adolescence, challenging everything. They say, "What are you telling me? What is better for me?" They say, "You have to be Christian, you have to be this, you have to be that." But they say, and show me the truth. They say, "Show what you're talking," because that's how they are. They are what they talk. And why that is, words are very important. So when a priest is preaching and you're seeing that the priest is not doing what he's saying, then what is the value of that? So he realized that, and he came back but he learned a lot and came back to his community, and he realized the value of his tradition. And he went to India, to Tibet, to China, and he says, "Wow, we are in the same level here."
Wow.
And he came back, and he asked the community, "Can I teach that to others? Because otherwise nobody's going to know about us, and our knowledge and wisdom is going to disappear, because modern life is eating everything up. Yeah, completely standardizing everything and based on materialism or other interests, but not really the human interest." And that was my philosophy too. So when you feel the resonance with some ideas, and I totally gave myself for that, and I say, "Who wants to teach?" because I had already 4 years experience, and I had the base of Tai Chi and Sufism that I totally were confirming that all that is also in the same path. So they said, oh, I can do that. And of course, I started with a very small group, but the small group was gorgeous laboratory to see, okay, let's put our hearts on the table. And that's the beauty of that, because when you start this path, you have to be open.
Yeah.
Because being human is being everything, not only, oh, I'm fantastic. Eh? They say, and that's when you appreciate the vulnerability, because everybody relates to the vulnerable parts of somebody else. And when you have learned something about it, then the other one benefits from that as well. So that's the beauty of the bad things. That it is an open book. They say, oh yeah, that's also a possibility, but I can choose something else as well. So that's the thing. And in this being open and spontaneous, we all benefited. Me and the people who wanted to learn about it. And I've been teaching now, yeah, 3 years. So it's new basically for me. But the more I teach it, the more I integrate it, and I have to, what I'm talking, I have to show. So then I also feel, oh, I'm struggling with this, so let's do something about that, and then it solves. And that's the beauty, that you get tools to solve whatever comes in your path. There is no limitation, only your sense that you will always be here. Once you're alive, you'll always be here. And then when you go ahead, then yeah, you'll go ahead. We don't know anything about it. But right now, the most important thing is being human here.
Mm.
And that gives so much, yeah, grounding. So in that path, they said, okay. And they said, I think it's time to write the book. They said, I just felt like, okay, I have it. This is too much evidence that this is so good. So
Yes.
then and I had no time. I was so busy because everybody was surprised that how did you write a book? When?
Yeah. And in the meanwhile, now you had given up accounting and you were a full-time Tai Chi teacher, or you were doing both?
No. I completely left the bookkeeping
Yeah.
in the 2008, and
Mm.
then I started teaching Tai Chi only. That was my full-time job, and I only taught two hours a week. But now
Okay.
I'm fully the whole week, and sometimes 2 3 classes a day, and on top of that, the cosmology of the Andes. I have 3 groups, small groups, and it's such a blessing
Wow.
to meet and be able to dive into our lives and see us as we are, and that freedom that you take the stress off. You say, oh, I have to be strong. Oh, I have to be smart. Oh, I have to be this or that. You say, no, you don't have to. But what do you want to experience? How do you want to change what you're feeling? And that freedom, and then is when you actually exercise your free will, because you were just saying before, like, I some will above me is leading my life, and that is true, but that is also you.
Mm. Yeah.
Is your higher self, or whatever you
Yeah.
want to,
Yeah.
that the
Yeah.
names can be 1,000 different names, doesn't matter, but it's a higher intelligence for sure.
Yes.
But our body projection, our body is also pure, it's perfect, it's like the most amazing uh, technology that there can be. But it is in our brain is capturing our impressions and translating according to whatever our level of understanding is. And most of us is living in whatever we got imprinted as children, and that's what we keep doing as adults, and that is the biggest conflict. They say you are not
Mm.
updating your experience, your knowledge. You're not giving value to your all your process of uh, emotional process and learning
Mhm.
process. So when you start acknowledging all that and giving value to every day of your life, then everything is fine.
Yeah. And then, like, from 2 hours of Tai Chi a day, did this, was it after the book that you became like giving like full-time Tai Chi, or this happened parallelly and
No,
the teaching?
I was already busy with Tai Chi, like 5 groups a week, and private students and stuff like that. And the cosmology of the Andes started with 1 group and some introductory courses, like just 7 times, and that was it. But then 5 people signed up for the full course, and that's when we met every week for 18 months. So it was a
Wow.
long journey. But and some people repeated the 18 months because you see that, okay, I understand now I want to chew it and really make it my own. And that's what we are living now. And two of them stepped up into the second module. Then when the first module is to heal yourself from everything, this start really loving yourself as you are and acting upon that. And the second module is how do you bring that out into the world and heal others or create a better, make more impact in your environment. So that's the level I have reached. After that, there is more levels when you really master energy and you can make things happen. And I'm heading to that direction. So
Yeah.
but that begins with just I'm gonna do that, and you do it, and to understand why do I want this,
Yeah.
and what would I get if I achieve it, and that's where we are not aware. We're just a compulsory wanting things and wishing things when we don't know why or what else is coming out of there. And then there's an emptiness that you can
Hmm.
feeling with a lot of things, but you're never satisfied. And that's because you are not conscious of the whole scheme of one movement is connected to your whole past, to your whole future. So if you are not aware of your past and your future in the now, you are blind, literally, and you
Yeah.
cannot understand anything that is happening around you. But when you open your consciousness to the whole and you say, okay, I want this, but I know where I'm coming from and I know where I want to arrive, and it's already here in your consciousness, then what every move you make is completely aligned and coherent. And that's the universe. The universe is coherent. So when you say, I'm manifesting, no, you're just conscious and you're moving
Hmm.
the energy consciously. But this alignment, the higher intelligence is, okay, there is no conflict in me anymore. And that sense of peace, and that's what you look for in meditation, in sacred dances, or anything, walking in nature, just mindfulness, silence. And that's the state. That's the state. But within that, instead of staying there like a like escape mode, we say, "Oh, the world is terrible, so I'm gonna
Hmm.
retreat." But then you go again back to the terrible world. Well, nothing has changed, and that is making a difference between that and this. And there is no difference. You say because if you don't like what is outside, is because there is something inside that you don't like. And when you work that out, then everything looks great.
Hmm.
So you integrate the what you see, the mirror effect within, and you project within outside. So then you are in constant feedback, and it's just being conscious of that.